Hello again, I'm Dr. Shawn Reynolds, a psychologist with St. Albert Public Schools, and I'm here with Charlotte Kirchner. She's a division coordinator in inclusive education with St. Albert Public Schools as well. Hey, Charlotte.
Hey. Hi, I'm excited to be here with you today.
Yeah, thanks for coming on again. Our final video is on, with learner fatigue, setting up kids for next year, and we want to talk about different ways to get them back into their routine and to help them to be successful as they go back.
I look forward to hearing what you have to say about how to prepare our kids for next year. I'm wondering what you would suggest on how we can get back to our regular routine.
The year has been so strange, and the routines that we have, which are things that make life just go more easily, they've all been thrown off and they've been disrupted, and this has created that anxiety for us. I sort of think about if my morning routine is changed up. So I have a routine where I get up, I go into the bathroom, I take a shower, I shave, I brush my teeth. I have a pretty standard thing of what my morning looks like, and if that has to be changed, I can live with it. But it's kind of a hassle, and it doesn't set me up for success well in the morning. I think about a lot of folks that need that first cup of coffee, and that's how they get going in the morning. Can they function without it? They can probably live without it, but it's really going to have an impact for them. So just these routines, rituals that we have that are nice ways of being able to set our days up for success. A lot of these kinds of things have been disrupted. And when we think about the routines in the school and in the classroom, these have been changed around a lot. So we know that some of what our kids will experience next year, it'll happen naturally. There are a lot of things that we're really looking forward to for, like, the younger kids being able to simply get together in a small space and get on the carpet and listen to the teacher read from a book or tell a story. Some things like that I think are going to be really cool to be able to start up again that we've missed out on this year. So some of these things I think will happen naturally, but we want to think about the things that we used to enjoy that we have missed out on. I was talking with a friend who had done a dinner club that she was involved with regularly, and then when the pandemic hit, then that of course came to an end, and she talked to someone else that was also in that club who was saying, yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this, and this person had completely forgotten about this. I think actually I read about this story now that I think about it. Doesn't matter. But we forget the things that we used to do that were fun because we're out of practice with them. We haven't done it for over a year now. So we want to make sure that we're setting those up for ourselves as adults, but that we remind our kids too of the things that they had done for fun as well, with being able to remember when you used to be able to, go to a friend's house and just knock on their door and hang out. That was great to do that. We're out of practice of doing that. And so we, as parents, it's fair, I think, to try to remind kids of those things too, because we create our new rituals and routines. And for a lot of our kids, that's involved just a huge increase in screen time, which we were worried about before the pandemic. During the pandemic, we've been concerned less about it because they need something to do that's fun. But we want to make sure that as we're coming out of this, we're giving them that variety of options.
And so much has been, referring to the screen time, as so much has been taken away for their ability to get together with friends outside, and so we are a little bit more lenient with how much time our kids are in front of the screen. I look forward to having kids together at recess and just kind of, mixing their cohorts that they've been so great at keeping this year.
Yeah, it was nice. We went for a walk yesterday as the weather's getting better, and we just saw lots of kids that were biking together and hanging out together. And the part of my brain is like, they're a little too close, and I wish they had a mask on. And then the other part is like, it's good just to see kids having fun, So it's important for us to make sure that we're now nudging kids back out of that comfort zone and getting them into other opportunities and other routines that are going to be positive for them.
Yeah, I love that. And even ourselves, right? Nudging ourselves out of what we've been doing and getting back to what used to be, what's our new, what will happen ahead of us.
Yeah.
So what should we expect during the summer and fall?
Some of what I've kind of come to this realization that when the pandemic came, In Canada, it came, or at least in the Edmonton region, it seemed to come really fast. Like I remember when the NBA game was canceled and the NHL game was canceled, and then that I remember where I was standing on the Sunday afternoon when they said school's going to be canceled for we're going to extend spring break, and I remember thinking, we'll probably be off for a few weeks and then we'll get this under control. And that clearly was, I didn't know any better, and I guess most of us didn't either. But we had this fall off the cliff that happened really fast. But the return to normalcy, it's going to come with a whimper and not with a bang. There's not going to be a specific day where we say everything is perfect now and we can do everything. Everything seems to come back really, really slowly. And so we just know that this is going to take some time. And we want to think about the things the options that are becoming open now. We're looking at being able to take a vacation. We can't do it tomorrow, but now we're getting to where we can start to plan what roughly time frame are we looking at and doing it? Where can we go? There are things that we can look forward to with this. For our kids, making sure that they get those chances to do those things, and that we are giving them those pushes. For our kids that are a little bit older, there's this idea of play dates. And certainly by the time you get to junior high, that term, you don't really like using that term so much anymore, but our kids don't know necessarily how to initiate that. And so as parents, we may need to do just a little bit more to kind of give them that nudge to be able to hang out with other kids. And we might need to do more of the background work for that, calling the other parent that we were hoping that we were past a couple of years ago, but we might need to give them a bit of a jump start with that. And as we're coming out of this, we want to do it in a way that is where we feel confident about it. Other people's tolerance for risk is different than mine is. Everyone has their own bar of what they feel safe in doing and what's not safe. And while you want to follow the public health guidelines for sure, there's a lot of leeway within that in terms of what you're comfortable in doing. I feel less comfortable in doing things that are inside, but outside I feel like is more okay. But different people have a different calculation with that. So just make sure that you're going at this pace that feels right for you and your family, and knowing that everyone's is different, and that's all right. We're all doing the best that we can here.
Yeah, I love that reminder that because I'm okay with it doesn't mean you're okay with it when it all opens up again. And also that it's okay for me or for my family to give ourselves permission to go slower than others if that's what feels right for us,
Yeah.
but to just go at what feels right.
And I think the flip of that too is that, as I don't want for others to, there's social media is really not great for this because we get a lot of negative feedback around this, but we can choose how we respond to that, and also what we're providing to other people. Other people are not going to have the exact same calculation that I'm going to have, and for me to just extend that grace rather than that judgment, it really has a positive impact on my own mental health, because I'm not so worried about what Charlotte's doing, whether she's too lax or too stringent. Charlotte's smart and she'll figure it out. I don't have to agree with it. I just have to do what I feel is best for my family. So trying to avoid that judgment as much as possible, I think, is a good thing for all of us. There's enough negativity out there already.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you for that. And so what do you feel will help us feel supported as we transition back?
I think an awareness about the risks that we have going forward. And I have this hope that as we come out of the pandemic, that everything is going to be sunshine and flowers. But we have some evidence that people seem to struggle more with mental health after the whole thing is done than in the midst of it. And there's some evidence around that from the pandemic 100 years ago that people had a harder time afterwards. So making sure that as we come out of it, that we may not be as okay as we think we are, or as we think that we should be. And that's actually a really normal thing. People tend to manage traumatic situations often surprisingly well, but they pay a price later on. And so having that forgiveness for yourself if you're not able to do that, knowing that, again, I talked about this on several of these, but this idea of not holding yourself to an impossibly perfect standard, and at the same time not holding your kids to that either. This has just been a rough year all the way around, and knowing that we may have a decline or a bumpy road in terms of our mental health going forward is something that's important. Making sure that we think about those supports that we have used in the past. So, extended family, friends, but choosing the right people. We want to make sure that we're seeking support from people that are actually going to be supportive. You have all of us have in our extended family people that are helpful and people that are not necessarily going to be positive with that. So you make sure that you choose the people in your lives that are going to provide that positive influence, especially when you're confiding about tough kinds of things. And that as parents know that we're modeling for our kids, and we're managing this just like they're managing it too. And that means that if I'm not going to be perfect, then I'm probably going to come across poorly to my own children. And I want to make sure that I'm modeling in the right way. How do I repair that if I make a mistake? How can I own the error and then be able to move on from it? So, sort of this idea of we're not expecting perfection, but we are expecting character and owning our mistakes. It's okay to mess up, but then you want to do something about it afterwards. And knowing that as a parent, this can be a really powerful learning experience. Don't feel like you have to always get it right all of the time, because when you don't, you get to go back and fix it. I had a situation where I was really cranky about a week or so ago, and I realized I came across as cranky, so I went to another room, took a break, and then thought about it and reflected that, yeah, I was kind of a jerk. And so I came downstairs and then I did the apology, which I really didn't like doing. That's not my favorite thing to do. But I felt like maybe this is a way that I can communicate to my youngest that, I get to mess up and she gets to mess up, and that's okay. It's fixable.
Yeah, I love that. I like the idea of being able to circle back and for modeling that with our children, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for that. So much to think about, and so many reminders. So thank you, Shawn.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on this with me, Charlotte.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.